شلون كاتب باش من نام روبرتا أما جنم Angie أما جين Columbus, Ohio أمريكا that's the best I can do in Kurdish. I'm Robert Meeker. This is my wife Angie Meeker. We live in Columbus, Ohio. We traveled to Slemani first in January of 2006, and we were there off and on through May of 2008. My background is in public administration. I have a master's degree from Ohio State University. I'm very interested in nonprofit work, which is how I ended up in Kurdistan. Say a little bit about yourself.
My name is Angie, and my work also is in nonprofit administration, also working with students in high school and middle school. And one of the projects that we did when we were in Iraq was in Kurdistan was a baseball camp in Halabja with 60 boys in Halabja. And that was great fun for me to be able to go to Halabja and help tell the boys in Halabja that the world and that the world sees them still, and that sort of thing. And so that was part of what we did, was to take our experience here in America and bring it to northern Iraq. An experience I'll never forget. It was great fun.
We went with an organization called Millennium Relief and Development Services out of Houston, Texas. I got interested mostly because of the war in Iraq. I just watching the news and seeing things, I wanted to do my part to be involved in helping. And so I started looking, found this opportunity to go to northern Iraq. At the time, I really didn't know I didn't really know that there was much difference between Kurdistan and Iraq and Arab versus Kurd. I had no idea. But after finding this opportunity, really learning about Kurdistan, the founder of that organization spent a number of years in Kurdistan in the early 90s, right after the first Gulf War. So he was passionate about serving Kurdistan, and so I learned quite a bit there. We did training here in the States in California, learned Kurdish, learned how to learn the language, and then also some about the culture from people living here in the United States, and then went to Iraq. Angie and I were married in 2006. I came back, we got married. I returned once more, we returned together in 2007. And I think for myself, the most surprising thing was the hospitality of the Kurds.
That change was necessary in order for Kurdistan to move forward. And so I want to encourage my Kurdish friends, especially the ones involved in the Goran Party, to be patient, even though I know that looking at the protests last year, around the same time as all of the Arab Spring protests, but I think that together, the young people of Kurdistan can get Kurdistan where you want to go.
Don't give your power away. Don't let the government have the power to tell you where to live and what job to have and how to make your money and how to get the things that you're fighting against, what you believe to be a corrupt government, and complaining when that corrupt government doesn't give you things. You don't want them to give you things. That's the point. You need to be able to have the freedom to get those things for yourself, and that's what you want. That's what you're working towards. That's what you need to keep in mind, that fighting this corruption is important, but not at the expense of what's happened in the past. That you have to remember that there was a struggle, and the Kurdish people have already come so far and defeated so much that this next step is obviously doable, because Kurdish people have shown that they will continue.
Well, it has to. It just makes sense to eventually have that happen. I don't know that it will encompass other areas of the Middle East, but as far as the part of Kurdistan and northern Iraq, I think that the wheels have already been set in motion for that to happen eventually.
I think that Angie's right, it's inevitable, at least for this northern Iraq to become separate from southern Iraq. I think that there will be an independent Kurdish state in northern Iraq, and I think that that's really not that far off, in my opinion.
Last thing in Kurdish, what do you say?
Hafiz Khan. Watan Lagal.
Their spots. Thank you very much.
Thank you.